What's happening, boys? Well, good.
Delighted.
All right. Anybody watching on YouTube, I apologise. This is insane. This is actual psychotic. I'm sitting under the couch from a Christmas tree like Bing Crosby or something like
that. With a mad beep going off every 30 seconds.
I apologise. My house is absolutely mental on a Sunday night because the kids have got school tomorrow. The battery on my alarm is going to go off every 35 seconds. You're going to hear beep. So I apologise. It's no your phone or your device or whatever. But just go with it, mate. Hearts are top of the league. We've just spanked Celtic again. Let's get stuck into that and ignore the fact that I'm sitting on the casting couch like fucking Ron Jeremy or something like that. and I'm holding the microphone to like I'm fucking Sky Sports' very own Liam Corbett sitting on the couch next to the Christmas tree. Right, Trips, what's been happening, Tam? All good?
Classmate, just absolutely buzzing after the day. Not as buzzing as you. I know you just sat in a dark room with your own thoughts for the 90 minutes of the game, but
we'll get to that.
Very good.
It was a low point. We all go through them. It was a low point in my adult life. We'll go through it. Kev, what's been happening?
Not a great deal, mate. I've been on call this weekend, so it's been. I had to watch that game without alcohol, which, for anybody who knows me, is a real tough struggle. However, we got through it at the end, didn't we?
We got there. And Ando, what's been happening?
Well, unlike Kev, I went through that game with lots of alcohol, loaded with the man flu, trying to make myself feel better, and I nearly gave a 90-year-old granny heart failure when that first goal went in, and then again when the second went in. So, thankfully, no casualties. Life is good.
There's going to be a lot of old ladies getting a fanny flutter looking at me on this couch. We could be responsible for a few deaths tonight. I apologise. The raw sexual magnetism of me on the couch is insane. But I apologise.
Can't wait until you stand up and everybody realises you've got no bottoms on.
I've got nothing on. Underneath this, I get absolutely nothing. What reminds me is, remember the time we tried to do this live, or we thought about doing it in person, and we went to Shank's house, and it looked like an episode of fucking Scottish Slimmers, or I was sitting on the couch like a absolute burst bag of washing, man. It was insane. I was like, fuck me. Man. Was that an episode of Zumba or something? It was insane. Oh well. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Any questions, any gloating, anything that you want to get off your chest, chuck it into the chat. We'll answer any of your comments. We'll flash up any comments. For anybody that doesn't know, Heart of Midlothian went to Celtic Park and won 2-1. The bubble no longer burst. It puts us 3 point clear at the top of the Premier League. We sang We're the Champions of August. We've sang We Are the Champions of September. We've done it in October. We've done it in November. And today's win means we might actually have a chance of singing We're the Champions of December as well. So we'll go over everything in the game today. We'll talk about Wednesday as well. I thought we'd obviously played at home to Kilmarnock on Wednesday. We got a draw. And then we'll look forward to our next game. I think we're on telly again, aren't we? Next Saturday.
Against Falkirk.
Because we play against Falkirk. Sound good, boys?
Absolutely.
Do you always laugh about with Falkirk? Imagine you go through your whole life, try to become a professional football player, all the sacrifices you make in life, and then you play for a professional team when you have to run about with a carrot on the front of your top. It's all right, man. I just put me on the bench. I don't know what to play. Right. Are we even going to bother with news? I suppose there is some news. There was the GM, wasn't there? Kev, is that it? Or do we just want to go straight into gloating?
Yeah, so we can talk about the AGM. But there's really, let's be honest, does anybody really care? Did anybody actually remember that it happened on Thursday night? No, exactly. So let's get on with the gloating.
Well, let us get on to the gloating. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
I think we should start with Wednesday night, if I'm being honest. Let's get the shit.
Let's discuss it. Let's move on.
No. That's firmly in the review. Let's just leave it alone. Nobody cares.
Well, to be fair, I think we said that the Motherwell point could be looked at as a good result if we then go and get positive results thereafter. I actually thought that after Wednesday night, I thought it could be do one of two things, could absolutely flatten us completely, because for 95% of the game and the game plan, I think Hearts played very well on Wednesday night. I thought Magnuson and Tammy Devlin played well. I thought that Shankland was getting back to his best. I think the only real downside to the game was obviously the result, but I thought that Frankie Kent, Alan Forrest, and Kabori had pretty poor games. But I thought Borchgrevink was brilliant. Everything that we've needed down that side of the park, and we got pretty much. It looked like it was a routine, comfortable home win if we taken our chances. They brought on the cunt for Avatar, and we didn't know what. So, and that's what happens in football. We just didn't seem to be carrying any bit of luck. So I was worried that that result could be an absolute flattener for the season. You know, a genuine, proper bubbles burst moment. But today, other than the opening, probably 10, 15 minutes, Kev, I thought Hearts were as comfortable as I've seen Hearts against a Celtic side that we'll come to them because they were absolutely bananas at points. But it was pretty comfortable outside the opening 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the first save that Shulo has from Maeda, other than that, he didn't really have anything to do in the first half. Yes, they had a lot of the ball, but I didn't feel at any point that they really actually did anything major with it. I think you and I or the guys in the chat, we'd already mentioned about the fact that they were always going to use the width of the pitch and get behind our back four, back five. But never really done that after that 15, 20 minutes, as you rightly say.
Aye. Tam, was there anything in the starting 11 that jumped off the page for you as something that you were expecting to see, or what was your thoughts?
To be honest, by the time we all argued what it would be, what formation, where we were playing, it was. I was quite glad that we the first time we've seen a bit more a freer midfield. I quite like that. We did put bodies in there to try and nullify the game, and to be honest, the freer midfield, Cammy Devlin was sensational today, just absolutely brilliant. And then Magnuson, I thought that was his best performance we've had in a Hearts top as well. But no, I was glad to see that. The defence kind of picks itself. I suppose I was surprised not to see Borchgrevink come back in because, as you said, on Wednesday night, he was very good. But I think we just wanted to be a bit more defensively solid with Steinbender in the right as well.
Yeah, I think, and again, we're talking about Wednesday. We'd mentioned that for the Motherwell game, maybe loading the midfield, bringing McEntee into the middle of the park, just due to the way that they play and the way that we would like to play. And I thought today that was, got a glimpse into how we can free up Magnuson and Devlin to be a bit more, harrying folk and a bit of quality. Devlin's added quality to his game this season, another deserved man of the match performance, but I felt that it was helped by the fact that McEntee was in there, a bit of muscle in there to stop your Callum McGregors, your Nygrens, your Engels, etc., dictating play. And after sounding out how they were going to set up and how they were going to play after that opening 10-15 minutes, I thought that once we grew into the game, we were brilliant. It was class. But we were everything that I want Hearts to be when we go to Glasgow. And I think that's what 4 wins out of the last 8 we play Celtic. We're turning it a bit of their bogey team.
Long may that continue. And just to add, because somebody had asked me in the group chat earlier on, this is the first time that Hearts have beaten Rangers and Celtic in Glasgow in the league since 1985, as best I can figure out. Right, so that in and of itself is a massive stat. But no, you're absolutely right. For me, to go back to your question, I know you asked Tam about anything for the starting lineup. The only thing I was worried about was if you can't go and win it, then just make sure you don't get beat. And looking at the starting 11, I would have thought, okay, fair enough. It's set up to do exactly that. But obviously the game played it to be so much more than that. Let's just gloss over the fact that Celtic look a shadow of the former side from the last 3 or 4 or 5 games or whatever. They were just absolutely toothless. Hearts handled everything they threw at them, apart from obviously that wee sticky moment in 91 minutes or whenever it was when they got a goal back. But no, you're absolutely right. They've done everything that I wanted them to do, snuffed them out, never gave them room to breathe, apart for the first 15 minutes. And that's natural. Like you have to let the game sort of kick off and settle down or whatever. But no, brilliant performance.
Yeah, it was, Kev. It's different. Feels different to the Ange Postecoglou one, because obviously when Ange came in, they get beat in Europe, and then we beat them opening game of the season. But Ange had the full pre-season to work on his "we never stop" stuff. We all remember us all laughing at the sound bites of them coming out at training saying "we never stop," etc., etc. This feels different though for the new Celtic guy, because I think maybe talked about in the last podcast. Brendan Rodgers has that arc in every club that he's been with. Celtic missed it the first time because he left when they'd won absolutely everything. But you've seen it in Liverpool, that arc of where you can see that the life of the players listening and buying into what Rodgers has said goes. Seen it at Leicester, and obviously we witnessed it this time with at Celtic. Obviously his last game losing to us at Tynecastle. And then Martin O'Neill comes in, who's a bit of a old school he's big on man management. He'd been all in there about, building up the players, less focused on the tactics, more of a puff your chest out, you play for Celtic, carry that with you, use that. The teams are all, by the time you line up against them, they're one down because of the badge on your chest, etc. Got his arm around the players. And I've said it to a couple of guys at work, and I talked to a big Ginge that listens to the podcast about. I said that my hope for this is that he'll come in and chuck everything that Martin O'Neill has done out, and then try and immediately bring his American style of football to Celtic. And I think we talked about it, Tam, as well last week, about the fact that he's going to have like 2 training sessions, if that. So it feels different. Okay, I've done it. I felt like that was Celtic felt shambolic, to be honest with you. They were all over the place.
I think you've nailed it. He's came in. He's only had potentially 2 training sessions with the team. You're never going to enact your tactics the way you want to play. The fact that he's lined up with a back 3 and put the boy Trusty, who is predominantly left-footed on the right-hand side. I think McInnes mentioned it in his after-match interview, is that's what they expected. I guess him and the rest of the coaching team had done a bit of sort of searching out of past Columbus Crew formations, and expected how Celtic were going to actually to start. And I think you're right, because they're going to have a tough game again on Thursday night. They play Roma at Celtic Park. Roma aren't going to lie over and just take it. They're going to want to enforce their own kind of play.
Roma was scud them.
In today's form, definitely. The element that you've got to say is, will the guy have or be able to get that tactics board sorted out and bits and pieces in regards to? Sorry, I wasn't going to laugh at that, but I did. But is he going to get that tactics board and make them understand as to what he wants from them? There's a lot of questions that are going to have to be asked. But then after the game against Roma, he's got the cup final next Sunday. Again, a big game. And we've spoken about how St Mirren play. They'll not give Celtic space. They'll not give them the chances to create. They're a big physical team. We've spoken about that many times. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be surprised to see them this time, say, next Sunday night, on the back of 3 defeats.
We're not going to turn it into the Celtic podcast, right? But
God no.
It feels different. it does feel different. Having, if we've spoke about before, I watched Charlotte for 2 and a bit seasons in MLS. I've heard inside stuff about training and culture and the football over there, etc., etc. And my big hope, and that's what I did say to Ginger, is that I hope he brings that to Celtic, because look at what happened with Ronnie Dyler. Look at what happened with Paul Le Guen. You come in and you ban ketchup and you get Stop Domino's pizzas coming into the changing room, and then you couple it with the offensive quadrants. Like they divvy up the pitch into quadrants and be like, right, you're responsible for quadrant 27 in the offensive, like odd pish like that it's like football by numbers, because they don't grow up with football. They learn themselves how to play football. So everything's like, the right back won't tuck in, midfielders didn't track runners because it's know what's done on. So I was absolutely delighted to see him whip out the wee Ouija board trying to conjure up the spirit of Martin O'Neill. It was fucking sensational. I'm sitting with that daft wee magnet thing talking to Cal McGregor, who's won more trophies than any other person in Scotland, trying to poop the wee fridge magnets about, saying this is where you need to go. I was like, yes, we're 70 minutes in and they're imploded. They're going to have sharks at the main gates.
You could literally see McGregor as well, just be like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. your wee red, white and blue tactic board, and you're telling me what to do with that.
And people forget about that, right? Like, folk talk about Scott Brown and Captain Fantastic and all that. They completely and utterly skip remember he was steaming, eating kebab on the streets a day before the cup final or whatever, because he hated Ronnie Dyla and didn't want to eat properly and train properly and all that, because it was some foreign guy coming here and giving them foreign mark and foreign ideas. And I'm hoping and praying that is exactly what happens with Nancy, because it was good for Hearts. Right, that's enough about Celtic. Let's go back to Hearts. Can we talk about the goalkeeper? Because
tell us your thoughts on him.
No, you tell me your thoughts on him. No, you tell me your thoughts on him.
I love him.
From my point of view, and we're talking about him positionally, I think he is very good. I think he knows his positions. I know, from that side of things. You look at his decision today he went out to effectively challenge Maeda and then backed off, which I think made Maeda make an actual decision, of which he dealt with pretty well, right? Just nice and easy, fairly day-to-day save. His kicking ability, he is two-footed. So you've seen him, when the ball gets rolled back to him and he's got time and space, he'll hit it on his right. He'll knock it out and hit it on his right. And 9 times out of 10, he gets to where he wants it to be, which is something we have not had for a long, long time in regards to a goalkeeper. But also, he got a couple of passes back on his left foot today. And again, launched them down the park. Maybe not as accurate, but he got rid of the ball. And not just out the park, he actually got it down. So far, I'm actually happy with his performance. Yes, he could have done better with the Kelly goal on Wednesday night, but we've forgotten about that. So all in all, I'm quite happy with his inclusion within the squad itself.
I think he's going to have a few of those Wednesday nights in him, but he also
makes. To be fair, it was offside.
Well, there is that.
I don't care what anybody says. He's offside. If the Motherwell goes offside, the Kilmarnock goes offside. I'm maybe going to kill him here, but I've decided that I love him now.
Whoa. No, you're absolutely. I'm on Corbett's bus.
I've decided that
he's amazing.
But that's everything that's great about him is what you just said there. The Maeda one. A normal goalkeeper stays in his line and they might get a better chance than what he did. A crackpot goalkeeper comes out, goes back, doesn't know what to do, and the guy thinks, "What the fuck's this guy doing?" So, like, you have to take the rough with the smooth, and I think he's point blank save for Engels is outrageous. He had an unbelievable save on Wednesday as well, and I think he's got himself a clean sheet today if Frankie Kent learns how to fucking header the ball. He's starting to really annoy me with that. Anybody that stood next to me at football over the years will know that I have said this on repeat about Frankie Kent, that he is horrendous in the air. He very, very rarely wins a header, and if he does, he always headers it either back into the worst place possible, i.e. the Kieran Tierney goal. That ball is flick it that way, and it's out for a corner. And you're 94 minutes in, and you see the corner away. He headers the ball when he's falling down, when he's not got any power in it, and dollies it into the middle of the box for to get a half clearance thing. And they actually had there was another one, I can't remember who it falls to from a Celtic perspective, but again, it's a Frankie Kent header where he just gets absolutely nothing on it and heads it into the danger area.
You're effectively, you what you said about Americans and playing football, they'll learn the game. From a learning the game point of view, we learnt this at the age of 5-year-old. In that situation, you do not put it back out. You do not, in any way, shape, or form, you get it out the park, and it'd be as simple as that. And then what you do is you effectively get yourselves back in position and make sure you defend the corner, right? That's all you need to do. But to put it back, because his other one is he sticks it up in the air, and then of course it's exactly the same idea. I sometimes wonder if the song is actually a little bit of a parody in regards to his heading ability, to be truthfully honest with you.
And listen, that's nitpicking, right? Because we were brilliant before, and we're actually talking about the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper is, if he's a minute and a half away, I'd love to see his stats for clean sheets, because he must be closing in on setting some form of Hearts record for clean sheets and stuff, because he seems obviously Wednesday aside, where it's an error from him, but he's not helped it from the officials. I know that they're focusing on the line. You can't see it on the line because it shows you Frankie Kent's foot, but if you're looking at the Motherwell offside, then it's offside. It did make me laugh that they put the lines up and then said onside and posted a picture that clearly shows that there's two of them offside, but that's splitting hairs.
6 clean sheets out of 12 games. There you go.
It's insane. It's insane. But you can all blame me. I've killed him. But I'm in the fan club. I couldn't make up my mind. Sometimes I want my keepers to be a wee bit more boring, but if Hearts are going to win leagues and then the Champions Leagues and Club World Cups and that, we're going to just have to embrace mentalness. And if it means having a goalkeeper that likes to do scissor kicks and diving headers instead of catching the ball, I'm all for it. Put me on the crazy train. Like I'm fully signed up to it.
Higuita Mark too, or whatever his name is.
We obviously weathered the opening 15 minutes and then grew into the game brilliantly. Can we just agree now? I know that Derek McKinney's boy listens to all the Hearts podcasts, so if you say to your dad, that's the front three now, right? Just didn't mess about. They're the three that play. I think actually the stat was, Ando, you might be able to confirm it, but I think we dropped Braga for Motherwell at home, Braga for Dundee United at home, and Braga for Kelly at home. And I think we've obviously dropped points in all of them. Hearts, I've said it 1,000 times before, Hearts are not the same team without Braga, because they all have their own thing, but Shankland's positional sense, holding the ball up, his passing ability, his vision is superb. Kazarides is skillful. You can make something happen. Actually, in the period they play where Braga scores, the first phase, Kizzy's touch is phenomenal, where he's getting tackled and he's tackling, but he touches the ball past the guy to go get it. Like, that's like his wee intelligence to do skills is brilliant. But you need Braga's energy. Braga will chase everything down, and that's a nightmare for defenders. And it's not to say that Kabore can't do it. Kabore had more than enough chances on Wednesday to bag a couple of goals and to be in with the argument that he should play. But that has to be the front three. Everything about the front three is epitomised in our goal. Which again, what professional football team stops and thinks that that's offside?
It's just what Kev said though. Like, what is the rule one of playing? Play the whistle. Right. That's it. I didn't even
And
celebrate because I was like, well, that's clearly offside. And then he's a
But
mile
it's
on.
no, though.
I know. I
Called this at the time in the living room after I'd nearly put the 90-year-old granny in the bin, in the ground. Pardon me. You could see it a mile off. It's like he's only just come back after touchline.
So I wholeheartedly agree with you. But see the camera angle. The camera angle from Sky Sports today did not show you that initially. It wasn't until you seen it from the side-on view that you could see Engels up by the edge of the box. So when I seen it initially, I was like, great that he's put it in the back of the net. Fine, he's dealt with it. And then, of course, I've seen it and then went, oh, no, he's onside. And then, yeah, I was a little bit, didn't get me wrong, my other half wasn't going into the ground, but she was sleeping, having a snooze on the couch. And then next thing you know, she's having to deal with me going absolute radio rentals. But there you go.
A wee snoozing boil. The one that made me laugh is, I get it, right? Everybody would shout and put your hand up for offside there. But my thing is, Schmeichel looked absolutely furious, but actually has to look past Engels playing everybody onside to moan at the linesman. I'm like, you know that guy there, I know that the stadium's filled with fucking wankers and full kits, but like that guy's got a Celtic top on. He's clearly in your team. And he's playing every single person onside. Like, it's bananas. And then again, goes back to, I know we talked about this last night. Did you see some of the offside calls in the Rangers game last night?
The one for his own half is tremendous.
Insane. Absolutely insane. That some of the decisions in that game last night were absolutely howling. But again, that's everything that you like about Braga. Kind of sums him up perfectly, because one, he's tenacious and doesn't stop. Then he's in a huff. If you actually see him when he wins the header to Milne, he goes in a wee bit of a strop. You can see that he's upset, and then he realises that the ball's still in play, brushes McGregor off, fires it into the bottom corner. Like, that's everything that's great about Braga, and why that front three, it has to play. It has to play every single week.
Some shot for Milne, by the way, as well.
Well, he was another one that was in half and just tried to arsehole wind it into the crowd.
Crazy we'll actually get an assist from that.
I know. But and then again, actually, right immediately from kickoff, we actually very, very close to working it through. Again, Shankland, brilliant play, and tell that everything again about that front three is everything that you've seen. Just before the halftime whistle, then they managed to scramble it through desperation and get it away. So it was quite a comfortable opening 45 minutes for Hearts. And then it's not just bluster, because we're now sitting here in hindsight or whatever, but that was one of the most comfortablest 45 minutes that we've probably had at Celtic Park in the second half. Were you expecting an onslaught?
I want to see that first sort of 15, 20 minutes, the pace and all that they had. I kind of expected that to happen, but just didn't, really. I think our game plan, we stuck to it. And what did we finish with? About 11 defenders on the pitch at the end. But it was fine. It was fair play. It worked, and it was there to be won, so aye.
Was there in the second half, I thought everybody played very well. I thought the manager again got the substitutions right, made them at the right times as well. I think there's a funny picture of Nancy and Kieran Tierney with a little magnet board, and Derek McInnes is like just behind them looking at what they're looking at, and then
I've seen it. It's right.
And then we make the substitutions. But if anything, we probably could have scored more goals. I think Magnuson, I know that Liam Scales gets a touch on it, but I still think Magnuson can do better. You know, it's an opportunity for him to bring that down even, or potentially try and score with a header. I like that he's obviously trying to tee up a teammate. But Kev, that's a theme actually from Wednesday night that was something that annoyed me on Wednesday, is that Shankland had one chance on Wednesday and scored it ruthless. Never once thought about doing anything other than hitting the back of the net. But you look at, Magnuson, Devlin, Kabore, Braga when he came on, Kazarides at points as well. they were all kind of looking to give it to someone else, if you know what I mean. And that was that situation where Magnussen had just been a wee bit more selfish. He might have get himself a goal rather than an assist.
Yeah, I think I said it on Wednesday night, and I'll copy it again tonight. Is these lads that have came in can learn a hell of a lot from Shankland in regards to decision making. See, when they start to improve on their decision making, that's when I think we'll see those guys actually step up another level. You look at the chance for Braga on Wednesday night. If his decision making is better, he rolls in Kizzy and that's 2-0 at that point. Kubari had a chance as well in the first half. If he lays it off rather than try to take it himself, again, these are little things that make a massive difference. But the element today that showed a massive difference as far as I was concerned is the way in which Magnussen started to actually get beyond. And we've spoken about this before in past seasons. But you look at the header, Scales just gets enough on it just to actually take it and the ball slightly off Magnussen's head. But that's the element we've got to get out of Magnussen, in my opinion, is we've got to get him more involved in the forward play. And by bringing McAtee into the midfield, that gives him the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think on Wednesday I think that Wednesday was his best performance in a Hearts jersey up until today. Hits the post. He was very positive in terms of Devlin was winning the ball, giving it to him, and he was carrying it forward. They bet his man a few times. He was willing to go beyond the front line as well. And then I think he carried that on today. People forget just how big and open Celtic Park is. You have to cover a lot of ground. And I think that we made the decisions well in the game. We pressed them when we had the opportunity to press them and try win the ball back. And we stood off them and let them have the ball when it was easier for us to sit in shape, shuffle back into shape, and then just be like, right, well, open us up, do something. And when you actually look at their chances, the Kieran Tierney ball in for the Engels header, that's almost impossible to defend. That's an unbelievable cross. And then also the pass for the Maeda chance at the start of the game. That's an unbelievable pass as well. So they haven't once cut us open. And I think Hearts were really good today in that sense of just letting Celtic have the ball when we needed them to have the ball, and we pressed them and engaged them when we wanted to and had them in the areas of the park that we wanted. So that was really good to see. And I think it summed up the move for the corner. That again, I have no idea why they're claiming offside. He's quite clearly onside. Even in the BBC commentary I've watched today, they're like, "Oh, that's offside." Whoever that is, it Liam McLeod or whatever it is.
It's because I had a rant about this before we started recording. It's no Liam McLeod. It's the other one, the guy with the top knot, and it must be a Celtic rat because he barely gets excited at Hearts going 1-0 up. And fair enough, he doesn't understand the laws of the game and thinks that obviously it's going to be a free kick to Celtic. 2-0 Hearts again, could barely feel his pulse rising. It's just absolutely shoddy journalism from them again.
But I think that move starts from Sholoff as well, doesn't it? I think he plays the ball out. We win the flick on header, then some nice play, gets Shankland down the line, Kizzy, and then obviously plays in Shankland. And then I felt like it's been an age since I almost started the corner count. It felt like an eternity since we've last scored from a corner. And we can talk all day about goalkeepers or whatever, but that is an unbelievable header time.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, Schmeichel, you would probably be wanting him to do better, but the actual power he generates in the direction on it, perfect. And it's been a while since we've seen a goal direct for a corner. Well, it feels like that anyway, but I felt today with every corner we had, we kind of were causing him problems. And yeah, McIntyre just does brilliant for it.
We actually, Kev, not to go back to the let's hammer Frankie Kent stuff, but he actually had a header on Wednesday from a corner as well. That it was, if he could header the ball, he actually fresh aired it, which is not the first time I think I've been enraged at a Frankie Kent header where he's fresh air swiped it. What's funny, see when the corner comes in, can you see how raging Halkett is? Halkett, obviously Mark Zonal, and Halkett got free his man and it went over his head and he was absolutely livid.
But you talk about Frankie Kent. If Frankie Kent was a decent header of a ball, he would have scored more than 3 goals for Hearts in 4 seasons. I appreciate he was injured for a wee bit of time, but 4 goals from a centre half. Well, Halkett's done that already this season. So there's a lot of elements in regards to that ability. In fact, I'm saying 4 goals. I don't think he's even scored that.
Well, and listen, this is that Frankie Kent has got loads of other great attributes. I actually think he's the quickest defender that we have. He's probably the strongest at 1-to-1 defending. But it's just that heading is something that you notice because it's a defender's job. But the header's absolutely phenomenal. McEntee, is that the second header that he's only other goals from a direct corner as well, wasn't it? Was it St Mirren he scored?
Yeah.
No.
Wasn't
it that standard header though? Because you won't see a better one, to be honest with that.
Nah, you won't. And it was great. And then, to be honest with you, we looked like we could score at any time. I felt that we were like comfortable knowing that we knew what we were doing in comparison to they were. I don't know if they just had to keep coming over to the wee magnet board to actually try to decipher what the fuck was happening, but they just seemed absolutely like clueless as to what they were actually trying to achieve, and we just looked comfortable to be like, do what you want because we'll play high and wide and can counter on you. It was a really mature performance, if that's the right word, if that's the best way to describe it.
Definitely, and I think it helped. Like, obviously, we got a goal just before half time, and then an early goal in the second half. Celtic Park was getting a bit toxic, and they were getting on at them, and the boos were lifting, and it all fell into our favour in terms of we could just see the game out. We can do what we want now because they're all shouting it, essentially.
Yeah, and it actually felt like we preferred not being the favourites, if that makes sense. I think that's maybe weighed us down the last few games since we beat Celtic. We've probably struggled to deal with and cope with the pressure of actually we are now the target. We are going into these games as the sort of everybody we play is the underdog, and then we maybe struggled to cope with that. Wednesday was different because it was a really assured performance other than the last sort of 10 minutes of the game, but there's loads of context. So it was quite clearly a handball. I don't care what fucking anybody says. I don't hear what Craig Fowler says. It's a handball, right? I don't care. He volleyball passed it back to the goalkeeper. It was a handball. Actually, that was one that we talked about. Has anybody even confirmed? Was it checked by VAR or was it? Can you not check it because of the phasey play stuff? Because obviously play continued for about a minute after and was only stopped due to the foul on the halfway line. Is that still a rule, or would VAR intervene if they thought that's a penalty?
I honestly don't know, mate. I'm not sure.
They keep changing the actual rules on it, don't they?
Because the ref never did an ear hang. They never said that VAR were checking or anything like that. The play just played on, which made me think that because of the phases of play, that VAR can't get involved because the ball never went dead until that free kick. And I said to you at the game, like, there are times every defender on planet Earth and goalkeeper are going to put their hand up in that Braga situation to say offside, right? But it was half-hearted. It was tame. The reaction to everybody inside the ground, the players.
Sorry.
the players. Don't worry, at the time I've got the Guantanamo Bay alarm going off every 30 seconds.
Actually, all the comments are asking what's the beat. who's
I
left
know.
the iron on the fridge
I know. I
open. All
told you
that.
at the start. I told
They
you.
must have
So
missed
you
it.
want to come and rob me? Come and rob me because my house battery has died. So tonight, if you want to come and home alone me, I'll put some of these decorations in the flare. I'll put the heater onto the handle, shoot you in the forehead or whatever it is. If you want to come and wet bandit me and rob me.
Micro machines at the bottom of the stairs. That's
Micro machines. Remember Micro Machines? That's the best thing about that film.
There you go. Exactly.
I also like that in that film they let an 8-year-old kid look at a Playboy. Like that would never happen in your world, Cam. Your woke world that you've created in 2025, you're probably still writing letters to Steven Spielberg. Or I don't know who the fuck directed Home Alone.
You need to-
38 and still not seen a naked woman, so you're fine.
I need to post a selfie and a picture of my ID now to see that, Kev. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, it was funny because I don't know why, but when we were in Universal in America, we went on the ET ride. The kids wanted to do it, so then that was like, "Gee, Ken, this is a film. Like it's not just right. This is an actual film." So we watched it, and like the opening scenes is like teenage kids just sitting smoking fags. They hear a noise outside. They grab a knife to run outside, and all that. I was like, "Cam will be furious when he sees this. He'll be absolutely livid. He'll be so angry that those kids get left in the house by themselves. They're smoking. Oh, it was crazy. Why are we talking about this?
Because Tam decided to railroad stuff by throwing stuff on the floor.
No, like what?
We're all giddy. We're all giddy, aren't we? Hearts are top of the league again. Right, anything else on the game?
It's better than talking about like your Chinese and Indian order like last week. So I'm happy we can just discuss the game this week.
Did we get sponsored by the Bay Leaf for anything now?
Nah, discussions are ongoing. Put that way. Yeah.
No, well, they got a very good shout out last week, so we better be getting some at least poppadoms or pakoras or something. Right, anything else in the game catch your eye? You want to talk about title challenge race?
I know you discussed the front three, but I do think Kizzy is wasted on the right. I would much prefer him in the left going forward. But that's on me. I just think it was his quietest game. He was always a threat, but I just felt he was just a bit quieter than usual. But that's one nitpick for no reason at all, really.
I think he plays there almost all the time with him.
And I also think the fact is that's the way, you know, if you the issue at the moment is the fact you don't have the same balance on the other side of the park.
Yeah.
So that's why you're always seeing Kizzy being on the left for 20 minutes, then 25 minutes on the right hand side. I think once you get Cheshnikov getting, if he's to hit the ground running, if he's as good as, you know, things so far look like they are going to be, the way in which he's played in Kazakhstan, etc., etc. From that point of view, if you've got two very good out-and-out wingers, then from that point of view, I think you'll be right. I think there was probably more chance of him playing on the left, Chesney on the right, and with that ability. But at the moment, you know, no matter where he goes, he tends to be at least positive. The one thing I want to just mention about the game today is everything in the press, and I'm happy with this, by the way, but everything in the press will be about how Celtic were bad. How Celtic, under the new management, set up the new team, etc., they have made an absolute mess of it. They've done this, they've done that, and they've done the next thing. Fantastic. Carry on with that particular, that rationale for as many weeks as you want to do. That's because we were good today, but it'll always come back to the fact that they were bad. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and that's always the way that it'll be in Scottish football. I think that what I was most pleased with was that the longer it goes without winning, the narrative, you control it. So you lose at Aberdeen, then you go a couple of draws and win, then suddenly we're now unbeaten in 4, whatever it is, 1 defeat in 20, whatever it may be. You lose today, then it's you've not won in 5 or 2 defeats in the last 6. Like they can pick and choose what stat they want to show that we've buckled under the pressure. And to be honest with you, if we are being honest, we talked about it last week, we probably did buckle. We have. I mean, you look at the points in which we've dropped in the games and teams in which, like, we shouldn't have lost to that Aberdeen team. We played very well in the game, should have scored, shouldn't be getting beat off Aberdeen in the mess that they're in right now. Kilmarnock came for a draw, got a draw with their second shot on target of the game in a match in which we created 3 or 4 clear-cut great opportunities. Motherwell, again, we got the result we wanted there, and no one will convince me that we weren't terrified of what Motherwell could do. So we've been okay. And my worry was that if we lose today, then how do you pick yourself up? Because we've now got to Falkirk next Saturday, who are on a pretty decent run in the league. They're there or thereabouts. We've struggled to deal with the fact that, on the Wednesday and of the Motherwell game, we had an opportunity because everybody that we were in or around us were playing each other. Celtic, Hibs, Falkirk Rangers, us versus Motherwell. That was an opportunity. That was the top 6 at the time, all playing each other. So it was an opportunity for us to gain 3 points. So you look, we're 3 points in front with a game in hand, but actually we've left 2 points in the table at Dundee United. We've left 2 points in the table at Kilmarnock. We've lost 3 points away to Aberdeen, but what can happen? We've no won there in fucking 45 years. And the Motherwell could be a good point. So I'm the same as you, Kev. I don't care. They can talk about Celtic all they want. But what we needed to see from Hearts is that we could actually handle some of the pressure. And I think today was a huge indicator that Shanklin said in the press that this was just a wobble. And, you go to your closest rival and win a game in which you needed to win. So, yeah, I'm happy for them to talk about how poor Celtic were.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, the other thing to look at is if I was to tell you guys back on the 1st of August, 7th of August, whatever it was, the night before the first game of the season, you'll be sitting top of the league, in the run up to Christmas, 3 points clear, okay, 1 game ahead. Every single Hearts fan would have bitten your hand off for it. Yes, you're right. We've dropped points, Pittodrie, we've dropped points at home against Dundee United and Kilmarnock. That happens over the season, you know what I mean? Nothing, as we've already said, is won at this point. However, we're putting ourselves in a better position than we have been for many, many a year. And I, for one, I prefer to be a more positive person than a depressed, psychotic alcoholic that I usually am. So from that point of view, all positives.
I think, Tam, that this is a season. This is a chance. If we don't believe that we can do something now, then I don't see when we would believe. We're not going to ever be in a financial position right now where we can go splash 20, 30 million pound on players and steamroller the league. We're going to need a few things to fall into our place. It's going to be Celtic and Rangers to be levels below where they should be or could be. You need some unrest. It's this is it. Like, we're now in December. Let's stop messing about. It's not the start of the season. It's not a few games where we've won. This little run of games now. Falkirk away, Rangers at home, Hibs away, Livy at home. That's huge. If we can get to the end of the 90 minutes against Livingston and still be top of the league. We're now in January. We've got a January window where this is the time now.
Yeah. And to be fair, McInnes has said it for whatever day he got asked. He's always said 2 times round of the fixtures. I think that Livy game is this, like, the 2. And by then, if we're still in the mix and you can get full points out of the next 4 games, you just have to think it is. And then that's when mindset needs to change. You really need to think about each game as it comes and where it takes you type thing.
And you've got the next little round of fixtures. So next weekend, Celtic don't play because they're in the League Cup final, but we play on the Saturday night, and then Rangers and Hibs play on the Monday. So the clubs that are directly behind us, someone's going to drop points. Someone's going to drop points in that. So then the next game's us against Rangers. So you're looking at, it's another opportunity for us to take points. I think Hibs are away to Dundee United. So you've got, I think Celtic potentially play Aberdeen, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're into a run of fixtures now where if we just take care of ourselves and win the matches, then we put ourselves in a massive position, knowing now that even when Celtic do win their game in hand, or if they do, we'll still be in front of them if we match the results because we have a better goal difference in them. So I think like now's the thing. Why not? Fuck it. What difference does it make? Like if we're going to do it, now's the time to do it. From what we've seen today from Celtic, protests before the game again.
Was that?
Rangers,
Yeah.
Wow.
Protests at the board again. Rangers just don't look. They've got a positive result last night, but when you look at some of the, I think Kilmarnock should have had a penalty. If Kilmarnock had taken even half their chances, you're looking at a different score.
Should the keeper been sent off as well?
Yeah, I think so as well. I know that Tav's there, but I still think that's you'd be screaming for a red card at that situation. But again, we've just got to look at ourselves, focus on ourselves. I like what the manager said after the game, but we're now past the point of, this is just fun, let's ride the wave, let's see where it takes us type thing. It's now to get serious. We have to be like, no, this is an absolute massive opportunity. Derek McInnes's Aberdeen fell and ran out of steam when Ronnie Dyler was the Celtic manager in a league that never had Rangers in it. This feels like we have that type of opportunity in front of us. So we've got to go for it. And the January transfer window could be the one that seals, how positive this season can be for us. Because I know what you're talking about with Kizzy and that, but the idea of playing the inverted wingers is what I like it, because he wants your wingers come inside. It gives the wing backs the opportunity to go past them, rather than both natural left-footed players trying to get to the byline. It gives you the opportunity for a right-footed left winger to cut inside, and then your left-footed wing back to go over on the overlap. So you've got an in-swinger option, you've got an out-swinger option, and same on the right-hand side. And I think that's what Kev's right, is that we sometimes, when we're at our best, you don't notice it, but when we're at our worst, you can notice that there's just a bit of an imbalance on that right-hand side. But I think on Wednesday, they're either dripping them in because they don't want them to get injured again, but they feel that this is the guy. But on Wednesday, I thought he was brilliant in that position.
If he could just cross the ball, he's crossing.
Kev, I thought he put brilliant balls into the box. There was just nobody there.
I wasn't that convinced, but especially one or two that went straight out the park and over the bar and everything else. But
there was a couple that went out 100%, but there was a few where there was like Kabore and Shankland were out the box, and he put it in between penalty box and penalty spot and 6-yard box, and the keeper can't come for them, and there was nobody there. So. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the January transfer window. I was going
to say that goes back to what I said earlier on about Magnuson. If Magnuson is then able to get forward, he does seem to be quite decent in the air. He does seem to get his head on a lot of crosses, a lot of goal kicks, blah blah blah. That's again going back to what you said there. That crossing ability, if he can get himself beyond that sort of midfield 2, midfield 3, then that gives him an opportunity to do, to get on the goal, on the goal scorers list a bit more.
After Wednesday, I'm now fully convinced that we have to try and get Watson from Kilmarnock. If he's a free agent in the summer, we should be doing everything we can to get him, because I thought he changed the game for them when he came on Wednesday. He was very good last night. A midfielder that likes to shoot, can create and stuff as well. So I'd be desperate to get them in. But if we get any other than why is it beeping every 30 seconds and why is Corbett sitting on the couch?
To be fair, I've got a question back of what you said. I know you said like change the narrative, I believe. Now, what would you take as a success this season now? Is it winning the league, or are you still saying second, or is third a success even at that?
Third is not going to be a success. We're going to have a huge drop off if we finish third, because you have to ask yourself, right, what 2 teams in the league are going to finish above us? Right? Historically, I get the Celtic Rangers argument, but Rangers, talk to a Rangers fan, they're not convinced.
No
They're
chance.
not convinced. And they're not going to have money to spend in January. They've spent 30 odd million in the summer. So you're looking at Motherwell in great form right now, but even what we've said before is that I know they've scored 3 goals at the weekend, but they're playing the worst team in the league. I still think that they're a player or two short from being like a real contender in that space. Hibs are boom or bust. They were pretty lacklustre in the opening stages of the game against Falkirk until they get the penalty. And then they go on to win comfortably. So it has
Hibs
to
have
be.
barely beaten anyone outside of the bottom 6.
Yeah. But I'm at that point where we just keep looking after ourselves, win our games. And we've talked about this at length about why I've said that, you know, David Gray or Jimmy Tillin or whoever would be in huge pressure if we keep winning matches. And it's why, you know, Robbie Nielsen lost his job and Stephen Naismith lost his job or whatever, is that when your rivals win matches and you don't, it just slowly adds and ramps up the pressure. You know, because we all know ourselves, we're all looking at full-time whistles, goes, we're looking at, right, what was the Hibs score, what was the Aberdeen score. You're looking for them to drop points, and every single time they check and see that we're winning and we're stretched our lead over them or whatever, like, you know, there will be Hibs fans right now sitting in the house thinking that they gained 3 points on Hearts by winning yesterday. You know, we've got 3 points, so, you know, you keep the cushion. So yeah, we can't. I'll be very disappointed if we finish any lower than second. That's the answer to that.
I said that earlier on. That result today was massive because of what results went, or how the results went yesterday. You know, we had to win. Yeah, you're 100% right, Corbett.
Any comments or anything on the chat other than what we talked about that we want to discuss, or we'll just go straight on to talking about Falkirk on Saturday?
It's just a lot of comments about the beeping.
I know. I apologise. I apologise for it. It's fucking infuriating.
Here's a good point from TMR 8274. Barkervik on Wednesday had the highest number of ball carries in the game ahead of Kids at ETC. It's quite interesting, to be honest. That backs up what you were saying.
Yep. You love ball carrying, I know. You fucking love carrying balls.
You know that episode of The Simpsons where they're like bouncing on them? That's me.
No, bouncing on
not
balls.
Simpsons. South Park. Sorry, South Park.
Come on, damn, it's supposed to be family friendly. I'm sitting next to a Christmas tree. I'm dreaming of a while.
Don't do that
At
again,
Home
please.
with Corbett, the Christmas album out now.
Exactly. I think all the old ladies watching this right now that are fucking loving it.
Anyway, let's move on.
What, you're going to put another comment up?
Was it?
That's what you just said.
Yeah, but you were.
Right.
This one. It was this one. Mark Lees. McEntee in the middle of the park is going to give us extra bottle when we need it. Much better in the mix. Which
well done, Marky. That's right.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. Falkirk, Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff, live in the telly. What's our thoughts?
Difficult.
Weirdly, it was probably our easiest game of the season. Well, our best result of the season in terms of performance this year, but they've came on a long way since then. So
I thought you could already predict the future there, Tom.
No. The one thing with them is I don't know if it suits us. We talked about this and said this before before we played Motherwell at Tynecastle, is that they play football. They won't low block. They won't look to frustrate. You know, they'll come and play their game. They'll try and get aggressive with us. So that gives a good opportunity for us to play our strengths. I think that when you see on Wednesday against Kilmarnock, when we do come up against a 4-5-1 and a low block, and whenever they do win the ball back, it's just recycle, punt it up the park, and we start again. I think sometimes we can struggle a bit with that because naturally it's difficult to break down basically 2 banks of 4 or 2 two banks of five to try and create stuff. So that won't happen on Saturday with Falkirk. They will definitely try and play football. So I think that could be an advantage for us. We making any changes?
Not for me.
If there's no changes to the injury situation, then I wouldn't. But then the way the shape was, actually, you know what? I don't know. Trust in the system. Dell can do no wrong.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if we didn't go back to 4-4-2. Personally,
I think that when you win and you have a statement win, you can't change that team. That's what built our success. Was sticking to the players that did what we needed them to. Magnuson and Devlin are creating a decent partnership together. The back pairing Halkett and Finlay look solid, and the front three pick themselves. So I'd be reluctant to change. I would like to see us stick to the same team and formation as we've seen today. Right, let's do predictions then. Ando, what's your prediction for Falkirk versus Hearts?
3-0 Hearts.
Kev?
As I'll be watching it in the warmer weather, I will go for a Desmond.
Tam?
2-0 for me.
I'll go for a 1-1. I'll go for a 1-1 in the Liam Corbett derby.
Who's the Falkirk scorer?
Number 37.
Cool.
No, of course it is.
You would too.
Right,
You see what that happens.
Any comments, anything that we want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Oh, good. Just, can somebody tell us the science of how you reinflate a burst bubble? How did that happen?
I know. Well, let's wait till after Saturday.
Okay.
We might re-burst our own.
Can we wait and leave that until June?
Let's talk about that. Well, Peter Grant, I hope you're having a fucking shite night. Look how crap your Christmas tree is compared to my Christmas tree. I hope Santa gets fucking booed at Celtic Park again. I hope every one of those rat bastards has the worst night of their life. Get it up, yeah. Gorgie rules, the Hearts are winning fucking everything. Right, see you later, boys.
Well,
Gorgie rules.